6:21. We've been talking a lot this week about the Russian connection to Epstein, so I'm delighted to be joined now by a Russian-born UK citizen who helped expose Russian interference in British politics, Sergei Cristo. Sergei, thank you very much indeed for joining LBC tonight. When you look at the numerous references to Moscow and Putin and stuff in the Epstein files, do you think that the suggestion that there is a KGB connection is ridiculous?
Good evening, Andrew. Thanks very much for having me. Yes, in fact, indeed, that story of what I've exposed was obviously told through the Sergei and Westminster Spiring podcast with Karol Kadwoloda and Peter Jukes of Byline Times. Byline Times did a lot of stuff on what we're talking about. I think Peter Mandelson has been one of the key figures in the story of Russian interference in British politics. We know his connection with Deripaska, which goes back to 2008, 2005, I think, first time he met Deripaska. But I'm a bit surprised, actually, seeing my party, Conservative Party, attacking so much what I think at the time was praised as a masterful decision by the Prime Minister to appoint Mandelson as ambassador to Washington. Because I think they wanted somebody who had a link to Trump through Epstein, and also who wasn't particularly regarded as very squeaky clean himself in his financial dealings, just like Trump.
Yeah, but what about Epstein himself? Because, you know, there's a lot of question marks about where he got quite so much money. He pulled all these girls from Moscow, from Russia. These young women came there. Apparently it was fairly easy. And he seems to have had very regular and close contacts with pretty senior people in Moscow all the way through this episode.
I think what I'm trying to say is that what we're talking about is not sort of classic Cold War espionage when you're trying to get some secret documents out of the, Ministry of Defense. I think we're talking about the wider Russian interference story, which still, is very much concealed because the government continues to deny voters the transparency they expected, to be honest, from any self-respecting democracy in what really happened around Brexit in the 2019 election. If I was Keir Starmer, whose leadership seems to be extremely threatened at the moment, I would actually turn the tables on the far-right populists and actually say, okay, so we're going to have a full inquiry into the Russian interference. They can do it on Monday. They've got a petition debate. About 114,000 people signed a petition to have a full inquiry into the Russian interference. And on Monday, there's going to be a debate in Westminster Hall. And instead of sending perhaps some of the most junior ministers to that debate, Keir Starmer can send somebody meaningful and actually say, yes, we succumb to pressure, we're going to have that inquiry. What I'm trying to say is that there are lots of figures like Peter Mandelson, we had Nathan Gill going to jail, who have been involved over the years through the New Labour years and also Cameron years in enabling Russian authorities through the oligarch connections. And perhaps also, data breaches and so on that we're talking about Mandelson. He's accused of giving information about the potential resignation in the cabinet, and also various inside information about how the government was trying to bail out certain industries during the global financial crisis of 2009. That is a very sensitive information with potential security implications. Sure. But there were lots of examples like that. And I think that story is mostly buried. And we're approaching a very important general election. I know it's not just yet, but I think voters need to know what has happened. Otherwise, we'll be condemned forever to repeat our past.